Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He is 52 years old, and he shares his story how recently he went on a date with a gal, and lo and behold, in the first date, it got out that she was married. Shocker. You're going to see how he met her on a work project. It was a project where a bunch of different companies were brought together for people to take care of it over a period of time. She was from a different outfit. They got to know each other. He didn't want to ask her out while they were on the job, but once the project was over, everybody was going to go their separate ways. Then he asked her out and discovered this. And you'll see how he handles the whole thing. And I thought it'd be a good one to go over here, guys, to show you how there are a lot of gals out there, not all, but a lot, unfortunately, that absolutely could care less. They could care less that they're married or have a boyfriend and do what they do. They could care less about the guy that they're going out with, if he likes her and secretly she has a husband or something like that. Or how a lot of gals will use guys. They'll have a guy that they clearly can tell likes them, and they'll use them for their own purposes, for their own entertainment, a free meal, or to make a husband or boyfriend jealous, that type of thing, as well as other important things that I'm going to point out in this story. And also, in this whole learning thing, because it's entertaining and learning at the same time, why I tell you guys always, first date, one drink. Always one drink only, otherwise you could find yourself being used for a bunch of money you'd rather just spend on yourself, amongst many other things. And of course, pay attention for little things and details, red flags in the gal, and you'll see in this story. So it starts off, he says, hey SSM, my work recently had me working on a 6-month project. It brought together a lot of different people from a lot of different trades. Besides making good coin, it was also a great chance to meet new people. I also saw as an opportunity to meet a potential long-term girlfriend if the right one came along. It was not a corporate atmosphere, so the environment was relaxed and casual. I'm 52 years old and in good shape. My job is physical, so I'm work strong. I realistically rate myself as a 5 or a 6, and I try to make up for it by watching my weight and being personable. There you go, man. And you know what? It sounds like you're being honest with yourself. A lot of people, a lot of guys or gals will say, oh, I'm an 8, I'm a 9. No, this guy's like, hey, look, I'm a 5 or a 6. I'm in shape, yeah, but I got a good personality. Excuse me, guys. It's early in the morning here. I'm a little off. I have a low 6-figure job with a good pension and great benefits. I consider myself a man of value who's handy, masculine, but not macho, and has a lot to give. I met a woman who is in her early 40s on this job. She was fairly attractive, and I introduced myself to her on the first day. She was really friendly. We didn't see each other every day on the job, but when we did see each other, we always talked for a few minutes. Okay. By the 3rd month into the job, anytime one of us would see each other, we would greet each other with a nice hug and then have a friendly chat. I wouldn't be hugging anybody on the workforce. That's just a bad way to go. But, so you can see here, 3 months into the job, sees this chick, she's pretty, personality. They chit-chat all the time. It appears that she likes talking to him. There's some interest there. So he's thinking, all right, maybe when this job is over, I'll ask her out. She exumed warmth and openness that women rarely show these days, unless you're a Chad, of course. I decided I was going to ask her for her phone number to go on a date when the project ended. Okay, very smart to wait until the job is done. Don't jeopardize your work. I say it all the time. On the second to the last day of the job, she waited for me outside of work. Her department had been let go a day early from the project when they had finished. We hugged, chatted, and I got her phone number. We made plans to go for sushi and then to a museum the following week. Okay, so this is where I'm going to reiterate the whole one drink thing, and you're going to see why. Now, one could say, well, you know what, SSM, they were acquainted for 3 months. So at this point, it's beyond just a simple get-to-know-you drink. I get that. And so in this situation, perhaps a couple drinks and appetizers, but planning a full-on sushi dinner, and sushi ain't cheap, and then going to the museum. But you see, museum, in my mind, is not exactly date. Museums are cool. I like museums, but that's something you do more with a girlfriend. And in a moment you're going to see, and I'll just reveal it now, he meets her for lunch. That screams friendship vibe. A lot of guys say, so what? Lunch, who cares? I met my girlfriend at lunch. Well, I've talked to a lot of women, and women say flat out when they hear lunch, they associate friendship. You're going to do it at night. That represents it's not just a friendship type of thing. And of course, don't make it big and expensive on a first date. On the day of the date, I reminded myself to treat her with the respect that I wanted to be treated with. Let's not get too carried away here. Also, I reminded myself to expect the unexpected and not react impulsively should any shenanigans occur. In hindsight, this was good preparation. I dressed in a neat casual style for the date. When she showed up to the restaurant, she was dressed rather shabbily. Wait a second here. If she likes you, why is she dressing like crap? It's not rocket science to know that a woman really likes a guy. She's going to make the extra effort to look good, present herself well, make her hair look good, and the right makeup, but not so much she looks like a goddamn clown. We don't want to be on a date with Pennywise. Outfit, you get the point. Dressing shabbily, that'll tell you something. This should have been a red flag, but I let it go. Lunch was nice. No, lunch is not the way to go if you're going to do a date like you're interested in her. It's nighttime. It's not the relationship channel, but I'm pointing these things out. That's another clue. If you're meeting up for lunch, friendship. Lunch was nice, and by the time we finished eating, we were already talking about another museum we both wanted to go to in the future. I paid for the sushi we ordered. New York City is expensive. I'm old-fashioned. I didn't mind paying for the date. We left the restaurant and started walking over to the museum. From out of the blue, she says, "This is really nice. I never get to do this with my husband." I'd be like, excuse me? Husband, huh? So obviously she hasn't been wearing a ring this entire time on the project. Now remember, she's dressing like crap. Let's just call it what it is. She's dressing like crap, meeting for lunch, and you just paid for a big New York City sushi meal. I can only imagine the cost there. He says, "Oh, really? You're married?" I replied calmly. The preparation paid off. She then went on to tell me that her husband moved to Las Vegas for work over a year ago. She didn't want to move with him because of her job here. She also lamented about how she never saw him that much when he lived in New York anyway, because he was always working. I asked if they were separated, and she said they were not. She went out to Las Vegas to visit him a few times last year. That was how their marriage appeared to function. Well, their marriage is not functioning. It's barely existing, and it ain't going to last. So she has no problem not wearing a ring, acting like she's not married, to, check out few potential prospects to replace her husband. But this guy, clearly you can tell this guy liked her, was attracted to her, wanted to see where it'd go, but not that much. But she knew. Obviously, she sees this guy as both a friend through her actions here, and also just someone to use, and you'll see in a second here. Doesn't care. She never wore a wedding band and never even hinted at being married in our many conversations before our date. Oh, imagine that. It's unfortunate that this guy married her and then lost interest, but that's not my problem. At that moment, I was really annoyed that she never disclosed that she was married before I asked her for her phone number. She doesn't give a shit. You're entertainment. You're fun. And this also, and I'm going to come back to the lunch thing, this is why if you would have said a nighttime thing, and she would have turned you down and said, "Oh, let's just do lunch," that would have told you all you need to know, that she sees you as a friend, and you wouldn't have wasted all that money on a friend for sushi. At least I hope you wouldn't. I was still processing all this when we went to the museum. I wouldn't have gone to the museum with her. I've been like, you know what? You hid the fact that you're married. You obviously can tell this was being a date and all. I'm going to have to pass. I wish you all the best. And walked away. I went through the motions and was still polite, but was relieved when we'd seen everything. She didn't give me any indication that she wanted to hook up, nor was I interested. And she wasn't interested either. She wanted an outing, to have fun, and maybe see if there was a potential replacement here, and obviously not. And also now she can go back to her husband and be like, "Oh, I was with this nice guy today," and to push his buttons. She certainly didn't dress in a way that would attract a man that day. Outside the museum, she told me what a nice time she had and to please call her so we could go out again. Yeah, what a great deal for her. You'll take her out because she knows you like her, and she can dress like crap, knowing darn well that's not going to attract you, and maybe you'll pay for another big meal for her. One drink, guys, first date, one drink. Or in this case, since you thought you knew her for a few months, a couple drinks. Beyond that, why waste your time and money? She gave me a big hug and we parted ways. Friendship hug. I walked away with little satisfaction knowing I was going to ghost her. After a little reflection, I realized that what she was after. I believed that as soon as she got home, she was going to call her husband. She was going to casually tell him what a nice time she had with me today. Guaranteed, make him jealous. He would ask who I was, and she would tell him I was just a friend, and we were going to hang out next week to another museum, which of course I had no intention of doing. She would basically be using me as an indirect way to let her husband know that their marriage wasn't working. I'm glad I ghosted her. She never tried to contact me either, thankfully. There you go. That's why she's saying, oh, reach out to me next week. You do all the chasing. You can pay for everything. She didn't give a shit about you. It was all just, your entertainment at the job, someone to talk to, because women love to fucking talk. And you paid for the sushi, and she got a good deal. And she didn't have to make any preparations. This is why you pay attention to the signs, the details, things like that. And trust your gut. I'm glad I'm not some blue-pilled ninny who would have been okay with continuing meeting up with this girl under these circumstances. Yeah, it's good for you, because a lot of guys would have, and they would have ignored lunch, they would have ignored her dressing like crap, they would have ignored her hug, they would have ignored all these things. When a man goes out one-on-one with a married woman, you should not be surprised if her husband comes after you. If I gone out with her again, it would have been disrespectful to her husband and would show I have no respect for myself. Exactly. This happened 3 months ago. I'm no longer interested in dating women raised in the West. It's simply not worth my time or effort. I have value and it's not appreciated here anymore. I applied for my passport 4 weeks ago and will be going to explore my options overseas. New York City has turned to such a violent hellhole I haven't really liked to hear for the last 5 years anyway. Bro, I can't tell you how many people have mentioned that about New York. I did a video couple weeks ago about a guy who was looking to move to a red state, and he's from New York City, and he just pretty much said the same freaking thing. And I had dudes all over the country talking about some of the states that themselves lived in cities like New York City, blue cities, let's be honest, New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and they all say the same fucking thing. And, well, we all know who runs those cities, and we all know who votes for those people, and it keeps being the same fucking shithole. But anyhow, putting that aside, it is what it is. I'm being honest here. Yeah, get out of there. But I want to caution you about, hey, get my passport, go overseas, and find myself a pretty Asian woman or an Eastern European woman. Believe me, I've had people write in about those types and said, guess what? Yes, they will appreciate a man from the West and treat you well, but still, they're after these guys for a reason. Just, I caution you that to be careful. Keep your eyes open. I hear all these great stories from men who have moved overseas. They go from being ignored and invisible to being appreciated for the effort they make to build a successful relationship. The people are far more friendly and open as well. There's some good lessons here for the young guys. I hope you can share this to everyone. Most importantly, I hope I kept the smack counter low. Well, it's Sunday morning. I'm kind of tired, so you weren't getting any smacks today. Yesterday I did a video from a guy, a husband. It was a part 2 and 3. I'm sure most of you saw that, about the guy who, that poor guy, found out that his wife was hooking up with this dude. This dude showed up at the door, told him, I just found out that this woman I was hooking up with is your wife. I'm so sorry. And the guy's getting divorced, and he shared with me his point of the story. And the whole time, because the guy only found my channel because of the other guy telling him, he made a few mistakes, so he didn't get any smacks because I felt bad for him. But I guess this is a non-smack weekend. But anyhow, bro, good for you for not pursuing that any further. I would just be aware in the future. This is a little tip. Try to remember the difference between a gal that has the friendship vibe, that clearly just is interested in you as a friend, versus someone that's actually attracted to you. It's all about the little details and the body language and the things they do and stuff like that. But also, the way you described her, it did seem like she was kind of interested, but the fact that you went to lunch, that's a big sign. If girls, let's do lunch, they see you as a friend. As well as her showing up the date. I'm glad you noticed about her dressing like crap. Believe me, woman likes a guy and wants to pique his interest and get his attention. She's going to dress very well to make herself look as good as possible. That is what it is. And I'm glad you caught that. And again, why I said first date, 1 drink. Or in your case, for a few months, a couple drinks at best. Not expensive dinner to sushi in New York City, which I can only imagine the cost of that meal. And then museum, that's what you do with your girlfriend. I love museums. I'm a nerd, but I wouldn't do that on a first date type of thing. So little things you can learn here, guys. So quick story, that'd be a good one to show you. And of course, women have no problem using a guy to make their boyfriend jealous, their husband jealous, or just for their own entertainment and string a guy along and let him pay for everything. But these are things that you share these stories so guys can listen to them and learn something, and hopefully they don't make the same mistakes, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. And also, guys, if you've got a great story you'd like to share, definitely email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and if it works for the channel, I'll definitely cover it. And this is your personal stories, what you've gone through, your struggles, your successes, your victories, whatever. Or you have a quick question for me about a situation, you know, a half a page, one-page story that Ask SSM, that's what I do them. Or if you find a crazy story online that definitely has to be told, I typically cover in the other channel, They Did What, which you should all subscribe to. Or a short story that I could do on the Clips channel, definitely email me and I'll make use of, there's a way to make use of all the good content out there. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.